The hunter stood on a grassy hill overlooking a peaceful prehistoric valley. Mammoths grazed in the distance while birds filled the morning sky. Everything seemed calm before the weather changed. Moving through tall grass, the hunter searched for fresh animal tracks as other tribe members hunted across the valley. Warm sunlight covered the land. Dark clouds slowly rolled across the sky, swallowing the sunlight. Looking upward, the hunter sensed something unusual as daylight quickly faded. Without warning, herds of deer, mammoths, and wild horses began running. Birds filled the sky while smaller animals disappeared into the bushes before humans understood why. Powerful winds swept across the grassland, bending tall grass and shaking ancient trees. The hunter gripped his spear against the growing storm. Hundreds of birds suddenly burst into the sky. The hunter watched in confusion as the air grew colder and the clouds spread across the valley. Towering trees swayed beneath roaring winds. Dust, leaves, and broken branches filled the air while the hunter struggled to stay on his feet. The entire tribe gathered, staring nervously at the black clouds. Adults held children close as everyone waited for what was coming. A brilliant bolt of lightning tore across the sky, lighting the valley for a single instant. Every frightened face appeared before darkness returned. Then an enormous clap of thunder shook the earth. The tribe covered their ears while the hunter stared into the storm, believing the heavens had come alive. A massive bolt of lightning crashed into a towering ancient tree. In a blinding flash, the trunk exploded as splinters flew through the air. Only moments later, the giant tree burst into roaring flames. Fire climbed rapidly through its branches while thick smoke rose into the dark sky. Terrified, the tribe ran across the open grassland as flames spread behind them. Adults carried children while everyone searched for safety. Driven by fierce winds, the fire raced across the dry grass toward the distant forest. The peaceful valley quickly became a sea of flames. From a nearby hill, the hunter watched thick smoke rise above the burning forest. The beautiful landscape slowly disappeared beneath fire. Mammoths, deer, wild horses, and countless animals fled from the wildfire. Humans and animals escaped the same unstoppable danger. Standing on a rocky cliff, the hunter watched the burning forest in silence while lightning flashed overhead. A burning ancient tree collapsed with tremendous force, sending sparks and blazing branches across the forest floor as the fire spread. When the flames finally passed, only blackened trees and gray ash remained. The tribe walked through the silent landscape. Although the wildfire had faded, dark storm clouds still rolled overhead as distant lightning flashed above the ruined forest. The tribe realized one thunderstorm could bring both fire and destruction. Heavy rain suddenly poured across the prehistoric valley. Standing in the open, the hunter watched the storm soak the land within moments. A small stream quickly swelled into a rushing river. The hunter watched in surprise as calm water became a powerful current. Floodwaters surged through the ancient forest, sweeping away branches, rocks, and fallen logs. The hunter struggled to keep his balance beside the raging water. Several hunters became trapped on a rocky island as the flood surrounded them. Rain continued falling while they searched for a safe escape. A giant fallen tree was carried away by the rushing current. The hunter watched as the flood moved it with surprising ease. The entire tribe climbed toward higher ground, carrying children and supplies. Behind them, muddy water spread across the valley. Water rushed into the entrance of a familiar cave. The hunter realized even trusted shelters could become dangerous during a violent storm. Several adults carefully carried frightened children through shallow floodwater towards safer ground, while rain continued pouring from above. Hours later, the rain still showed no sign of stopping. The exhausted tribe waited on a rocky hill as floodwater covered the valley. The once green valley had become a vast muddy lake. Standing safely above it, the hunter understood a single storm could reshape the land. Heavy rain covered the dense forest, reducing visibility to only a few steps. The hunter searched carefully through the gray curtain of water. A hungry pack of wolves slowly emerged from the mist. Their glowing eyes stayed fixed on the hunter as thunder echoed overhead. A massive cave lion silently moved through the rain, using the storm to hide while stalking nearby prey beneath the ancient trees. A flash of lightning briefly revealed the enormous predator before darkness swallowed it again. The storm hid danger between every strike. A deafening clap of thunder echoed through the forest, drowning out every sound. The hunter could no longer hear what might be approaching. Several pairs of glowing eyes appeared deep within the rain-soaked woods. Hidden predators watched silently without revealing themselves. A frightened deer slipped across the muddy ground as predators closed in. The storm had turned the forest into a perfect hunting ground. The tribe huddled together beneath a rocky shelter while heavy rain fell outside. Everyone watched the dark forest with growing caution. Their small campfire burned weakly beneath the relentless rain. Smoke drifted upward as the fading flames struggled against wind and water. Night finally covered the forest while rain continued beneath flashing lightning. Hidden predators roamed the darkness as the tribe stayed close to its dying fire. Knowing the storm had made the wilderness even more dangerous, the hunter discovered a large cave hidden beneath towering cliffs while heavy rain poured across the valley. A flash of lightning briefly revealed the cave entrance. He quickly called to the tribe, and everyone rushed through the rain toward the shelter. Adults carried children while thunder rolled across the sky. The entire tribe gathered safely inside the deep cave as rain continued falling outside. For the first time since the storm began, they finally felt protected. Another bolt of lightning lit the cave entrance for only a second, casting huge shadows across the stone walls while everyone watched in silence. The hunter dragged heavy branches and fallen logs across part of the entrance, building a stronger barrier against wind, rain, and hidden predators. Soon a warm campfire burned brightly inside the cave. Its orange glow spread across the walls as the tribe slowly relaxed after the terrifying journey. Families gathered around the fire, drying their soaked animal hide clothing while children rested beside their parents. Thunder still echoed outside the cave. The hunter stood quietly near the entrance, watching rain and distant lightning while remaining safely inside the shelter. Gradually the rain became lighter, and the dark clouds slowly began to break apart. Sunlight finally appeared beyond the cave entrance. The hunter stepped outside and looked across the fresh landscape after the storm. The tribe followed behind, knowing the cave had saved their lives. High above the valley, hundreds of birds suddenly flew away before dark clouds appeared. The hunter realized animals could sense danger earlier than humans. Herds of mammoths, deer, and wild horses moved toward higher ground before the storm arrived. The hunter quietly watched and remembered their behavior. Dark gray clouds slowly gathered across the sky. Instead of fear, the hunter calmly studied their movement from a nearby hill. Strong winds changed direction across the plain, bending tall grass. The hunter raised his hand and felt another warning from nature, pointing toward the approaching clouds. The hunter alerted the tribe. Everyone immediately began preparing without panic. The tribe gathered firewood, food, hunting tools, and animal hides before the storm arrived, working quickly beneath the darkening sky. Several hunters strengthened their shelter with branches, stones, and animal hides while powerful winds swept across the valley. Fresh meat, berries, and dry firewood were carefully covered inside the shelter, protecting valuable supplies from the coming rain. The tribe waited calmly inside the reinforced shelter while the hunter watched the approaching storm with quiet confidence. As the first heavy raindrops fell across the valley, the hunter stood beside his prepared tribe and calmly watched the thunderstorm arrive, proving that knowledge had replaced fear. The tribe worked together to build stronger shelters using thick logs, stone supports, and woven branches. Dark clouds gathered nearby, but everyone continued working with confidence. Inside the shelter, the hunter carefully built a protected stone fire pit. The fire burned steadily while strong winds swept across the valley outside. Large bundles of dry firewood were stacked beneath a wooden roof, safely protected from rain. The tribe prepared enough fuel for future storms. Heavy rain pounded the valley while families sat safely inside their sturdy shelters around a warm fire. Children remained calm as thunder echoed outside. Several children stood beneath the shelter entrance, watching lightning flash across the sky with curiosity instead of fear. Adults smiled beside them. The hunter stood beneath a rocky ledge, calmly observing lightning striking distant hills. His fear had become understanding. Rainwater flowed from the shelter roof into simple stone containers. The tribe collected the fresh water, turning the storm into a valuable gift. After the storm, sunlight spread across the valley as fresh green plants covered the ground. Birds returned, and animals grazed peacefully again. The hunter walked confidently through the quiet valley while mammoths, deer, and birds returned to their normal paths. Nature felt peaceful again. Standing on a high cliff, the hunter watched the last storm clouds disappear beyond the horizon. Humans had learned to live beside the thunderstorm. The first golden sunlight spread across the valley after the storm. Standing on a rocky hill, the hunter quietly watched the remaining clouds drift away. Fresh grass, blooming flowers, and healthy trees covered the valley once again. Mammoths and deer grazed peacefully beneath the clear sky. The tribe left their shelters together and walked into the renewed landscape. Children ran ahead while adults admired the peaceful valley. Several children happily splashed through shallow puddles left by the rain. What had once inspired fear had become part of everyday life. The hunter followed fresh animal tracks pressed into the soft ground after the storm. Hunting had become easier than before. A clear river flowed gently through the valley, filled with fresh rainwater. The tribe gathered clean drinking water along its peaceful banks. A brilliant rainbow stretched across the sky above the valley. The tribe stood together in silence, admiring the peaceful ending of the storm. Standing on a rocky cliff beneath the clear sky, the hunter smiled quietly as the final storm clouds disappeared beyond the mountains. The tribe continued its journey across the vast prehistoric world beneath a peaceful sky. Every step carried more confidence than before. From the highest cliff, the hunter looked across the endless land beneath the golden sunrise. The thunderstorm had never changed, but humanity had learned to understand it, respect it, and survive beside nature.